are no rules. And they'll say, well, it doesn't work that way. You don't understand. You have to have a plan. If you don't do that, eventually you're not going to find a job and your savings and this and that. To that, I say, you don't believe in yourself. You have to be delusionally optimistic and confident in yourself, because when you do that, you won't take no for an answer. You won't fail because you know you have no other options.
Welcome to the VetRise Podcast. I'm your host, Juan Perez. My goal is to make success after service accessible to every veteran in society. I believe in the power of leveraging your service, not as a label that defines you, but as a launching pad for your next chapter. What we have been doing hasn't been working, and it's on us to start changing the culture. Enjoy the episode, and thank you for your time.
So what does it mean to play by the rules? As veterans and as even non-veterans, we come out and we either leave our jobs, maybe a past relationship, maybe even a past life that we're leaving behind. Maybe we're moving across country. Maybe we just left the military and we are transitioning out. And we think that there are these rules that we have to abide by. We think that there is these set of standards that everybody expects us to follow or listen to. A lot of them are being in place by society. Some of them are put in place by the way that we were raised. Maybe our parents. Maybe we were raised a little bit more by our grandparents or by the streets or by our friends and the way that they have been for so long, right? What was expected of us. For the longest, a lot of people say that your success can be determined by your zip code, where you were born. And there is some truth to that. Historically speaking, statistically speaking, your zip code, where you were born, where you were raised, does say a lot about you because it will influence a lot about the way you are raised. But again, it doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all. When you go into the military or when you go to college or when you leave a relationship or when you go into any sort of large life event, there is the chance for you to redo who you are, reset your mindset. Everything is a transition. But the problem with the word transition is that it implies that it is a long process. Now, everyone goes through transitions, whether you're moving across country, leaving a job, leaving a relationship, getting out of the military, maybe starting your career, maybe you're going through a divorce. It is definitely a process, absolutely. But when you think of the word transition, you think that there are rules that you have to abide by. You have to go through this process. You have to do this first and then do that and then get this job and then be this upstanding citizen. And you have to do this or you have to get married or you have to do this. There are no rules. It has to be a hard reset. Now, what does that mean, a hard reset? It means that you understand that you don't have to fit into any type of mold. There are no rules. We don't have to fit in. We have to stand out. And one of the ways that we can do that is by remembering that we cannot care about what everybody thinks or says about us. We have to make sure we stick to our guns, our belief system, our own set of rules. And what do those look like? They can look like whatever you want. If you have strong values, if you have strong core beliefs, strong principles, you will eventually develop your own set of rules that you live by. And nobody has to agree with them. Nobody has to co-sign them. Nobody has to even believe in them as long as you do. As long as you are working on becoming a good human being, an upstanding citizen, the best version of yourself, that's all that matters. You don't have to make everybody happy, because if you're worried about making everybody else happy, you are taking happiness away from yourself. When you are saying yes to everybody else, you're saying no to yourself. You don't have to follow any sort of societal rules. There are no norms that you have to fit in. You don't have to be a type of woman, a type of man, a type of citizen, a type of veteran. You can be who you want to be. If you want to start your own business, do it. If you want to never get married, then don't. If you want to get married and get divorced because that's just what life happens and you have to do it because it's your life we're talking about here, do it. You don't need your mom's approval, your dad's approval. They're never going to understand you because they are judging your decision, your moment, based off that. Based off one moment, what they see. They don't have the full perspective. They don't have the full picture, and they can't. Nobody in your life can ever have the full picture of what is it that you're going through. Nobody in your life can ever have the full picture of what is it that you're going through. So if you're going through a divorce, a separation, a move, if you're quitting your job, if you just got fired, there are no rules for what you have to do next. As long as you make the decision that what's important to me is going to stay in my life. The working out, I'm not going to lose that, because you know deep down inside that when you work out, you feel better. You know deep down inside that doing the things that continue to move you forward in life, the working out, the sleeping right, the getting the proper meals, these are the things that are going to help you survive, because your systems are your safety nets. It's not about having rules of, oh, I guess I have to get this job because that's what's expected of me, or that's the field that I know, or I left the military, I guess I'm going to become a cop. No, there are no rules. You can do whatever you want. And that's the thing we have to remember. You don't have to worry so much about what other people think about you, because you know what? They're not thinking about you. They're living their lives. The sooner that we can accept the fact that we're going to be judged, people are going to talk about us behind our back, people are going to make judgments on us online, on social media. It doesn't matter. The purpose of social media isn't to share everything with the world so people can judge you. The purpose of social media, in my opinion, is to use it as a tool for what you're trying to accomplish. If you want to share stuff because you want the world to know what you're doing, because you want to share and inspire, and there's certain people in your circle that you don't have a problem with sharing, then do that. If you don't want to, then don't. Use it as a tool. When we try and say, you know what, I'm going to stay off social media for a while, it's not social media that is the bad thing. It's your use of it. Everything is a tool. Everything is a tool. I don't have a problem with going out and having a drink here and there. I don't want to. I don't do it. It's not who I am. But there's no problem with it. I don't have a problem with smoking a little weed here and there. I mean, I personally can't right now, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's all about the abuse or the use of that tool. You don't have to limit something that you do, because if you're limiting it completely, it means that you feel like you can't control it. And I know I've seen you guys talk about this before, but you don't have to say that I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that because I can't control it. If you want to partake in it, then great. It's up to you. But again, there are no rules. You don't have to go to the VFW. You don't have to only visit the VA. There are other medical options out there that the VA can help you with. There are no rules. If you want to start your own business and you want to do something that you've never done before, guess what? It's going to take a lot of hard work. A lot of devotion, a lot of stress and anxiety. But you know what? As long as you keep your systems in place, the safety nets, the things that when you start to fall will hold you up and pick you back up. When you start to feel sad, then you start to feel angry at yourself because you feel sad. One of the things you can do to kick yourself out of that system and do a hard reset is go to the gym. Because I promise you, when you go to the gym, you are going to feel better afterwards, because there are chemicals in the body that will be released to your brain that will make you feel better. There are no rules. Whatever you want in life, you have to create it. So if you've been doing this for a while and you've been on this health journey and you've been working out and you've been doing the meal preps, but yet you keep telling yourself like, well, because I was raised this way, I can't change the way that I eat. Or because I live in this area of the country, I can't go to the workouts or do this or go for a run outside because it's not who I am or it's not who I was. There are no rules. You make your own life. And the sooner you accept that, you are the only person that can decide how your day turns out. That nobody should have the power to take you out of character. No matter what they say or what they do, you decide how you respond to them, not react. There are no rules. You can do whatever you want to do. And the same feeling that we feel, that fear of being judged, of being criticized, of our mother-in-law thinking something about us, or our husband, or our friends that we served with, they all have their own problems. They all have their own issues. They are going through their life. They feel the same way you do. But you know what the difference is between you and them? The recognition of understanding that there are no rules. You can do whatever you want in this world. And if you limit yourself because you think that, well, because of my past or my circumstances or my financial position or the weight that I am right now or my ethnicity or my political beliefs or any of that, if you're going to let one of those small, tiny fractions of your entire life pie, if you will, be the thing that prevents you from creating the life that you want for yourself, in the long run, the only person that you're going to resent is yourself. There are no rules. Growing up, I was raised in a Catholic school. And eventually, when I went to high school, I went to a public school and I rebelled because I thought, well, I've been this goody two-shoes for the longest. I went to a Catholic school. This is my time to rebel. This is what's expected of me because that's what happens in society. That's what I've seen in the movies. And I did that. And I hung out with the wrong crowds. And I ended up getting expelled from not one, not two, but 3 different high schools, eventually getting suspended and let go from school. And I had to finish my school at an alternative school where I had to go through a metal detector and there were police in every room. It was an alternative school. Why? Because I thought that this is what's expected of me. I'm Hispanic. I am growing up around a bunch of other Hispanics who are gang members. I guess this is who I am. But if I would have just stopped and opened up my eyes and looked around, paid attention, I would have seen that that is bullshit. There are plenty of other Hispanic kids who were doing great, who were in advanced classes, who were on the sports teams. There are no rules. So when you put yourself in this box, when you think that you have to do things because of your circumstances or the way that you were raised, you're taking all the ownership away from yourself. You're telling yourself that you don't have the control over your future. And eventually, I realized that I do have control. And a lot of that happened in my last year of high school where I met my teacher who actually told me that if you don't change the way you're living your life, you're going to end up dead or in jail. And I joined the Marine Corps. And even then, it took me a lot of time to realize while I was in that there are no rules. Now, there are customs and courtesies and things that you should do because that is beneficial to you. But you don't have to impose something on yourself that doesn't fit into your values, your belief system. As you grow up, you will learn what does help you, what rules, per se, or customs and courtesies and life conditions, if you will, do benefit you. But as long as it's something that truly benefits you and doesn't limit you, there's nothing wrong with that because it is molding who you are. You are learning what it means to have values. You are paying attention to your seniors. You are learning what it means to be a man or woman of character. But don't believe for 1 minute that you feel like you have to get out of the military after 4 years because everybody else does it, or that you have to stay in, or that when you get out, the only option you have is to do this or that. There are no rules. There's no blueprint for life. Everybody does it differently. And the most successful people on this planet that have done it differently have broken the mold. They don't work the 9 to 5. They don't say that, oh, they're miserable at home and, oh, happy wife, happy life. Or, oh, yeah, my husband is always tired. So, he just comes home and he doesn't help me. Like, that is just the standard that society lives in because they don't want to do more than they have to. And so what? That doesn't affect you. In fact, I argue that it benefits you. Because if everybody else in this world is so caught up with being accepting of the fact that they're going to be a little bit miserable, but oh, it's just life. You know how it is. Another day, I'm here, I'm surviving. Like that mentality benefits you when you're not the one in it. Because you're breaking away from it. And when you do break away from it, when you break that mold and you start to escape from it, people are going to look at you differently. People are going to look at you like you're the one that's crazy. You're the one that's wrong. You're the one that doesn't get it. You're going to leave your job? This is secure work. They pay you here. You don't have to do anything. You're going to get divorced? But we don't get divorced. We come from this Hispanic heritage. We don't do that. You suffer. You're going to move across the country and leave your entire family? No, we all stay here in this miserable cold weather together. You're going to leave the Marine Corps? What else are you going to do? There are no rules. And when you do that, when you break away from the rest of the pack, when you decide to create your own path in life, like I said, people are going to look at you like you're crazy. Let them. Let them do that. Because eventually, they may cheer you on a little bit, but it's not real. Because they know that they're right, according to them, and you're going to come back, and they're going to be able to tell you, see, I told you so. See, you were crazy. Or I did that, or I tried that, and it didn't work for me. There are no rules. So be willing to step out of your comfort zone. Be willing to be uncomfortable. Be willing to limit your friends and have a smaller and smaller circle. If you want to live a mundane life, a mediocre life, go for it. But I know that that's not you. I know that you want more because you guys are all here. You guys are all present. You guys are all putting forth not only your best foot, but you're actually giving a fuck. And I do mean that because you have to give a damn about what you're doing. None of this is easy. None of this is momentarily easy, at least. Because when you're doing this, you are creating an easier life in the future. But right now, in the moment, grabbing that beer, sitting on the couch, that's easier. Right now, in the moment, deciding you're going to sleep in, that's easier. But again, what do you prioritize? What means more to you? An easy life now and a miserable life later because you got stuck in this pattern of accepting misery, that's just the way it is? Or are you willing to create an easier life for you in the future because of the work that you're doing now? The work that you're doing now, the intentional work. And it's not about working 24/7. I don't like it when people say, oh, no one can outwork me. Are you kidding me? You're taking pride in the fact that you work so much, but yet here you are stuck. It's about doing the right things. We all have 24 hours in a day. Someone is outworking you. It's about doing the right things, making the right decisions, surrounding yourself with people who are actually doing something in life. I believe that the friends you should keep in your life are people that actually want better for you, give you value, and cheer you on even when you're not around. You don't have to keep people in your life if you don't want them in your life. There are no rules. So if this is hitting home for you, if you're listening to this and this is freaking hitting home for you, don't just be motivated today. Don't feel inspired right now. Take action. Pick up that phone. Quit that job. Decide to start your business. Decide that you're going to move. Decide that you're going to start something new in life. Decide that you're going to go ahead and give yourself your best effort. Whatever it is that you've thought about doing that you keep saying, one day, let it be day one. There will never be a perfect time for you. There are no rules. You don't have to wait until you have so much money in your savings account and you have a nice buffer because you're telling yourself that you're going to have a plan B. And in my opinion, when you have a plan B, you will never put enough effort into plan A. There needs to be just a plan. Burn the boats. And a lot of people will hear this and they'll say, well, it doesn't work that way. You don't understand. You have to have a plan. If you don't do that, eventually you're not going to find a job and your savings and this and that. To that, I say, you don't believe in yourself. You have to be delusionally optimistic and confident in yourself because when you do that, you won't take no for an answer. You won't fail because you know you have no other options. On that random Saturday night when your friends want to go out for a beer, you know you have to go home and you have to work on your business or you have to work on your resume or you have to work on your relationship because you don't have a plan B. Imagine that life. That the one thing you want, the thing that you've wanted most in your life that you want to go out there and get is possible. Because it is. You don't have to wait for permission from anybody. There are no rules. Thank you for your time.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of the VetRise Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, made you think, or simply just gave you hope, I have a small favor to ask. Share it with just one veteran or someone you think could benefit from my message. Your share could light a spark for them. You don't know who you might save. For more insights and to join this mission, follow my socials at JP the Veteran Coach and explore how we can rise together. Thank you for joining us, for being part of this journey, and for believing in the power of rising together as veterans. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep rising, and never forget we are stronger together. My name is Juan Perez, and thank you for your time.